Malfatti is a skater you don't tend to notice that much. He skates some good times here or there on the 5k, on the 10k. Was 9th at the Olympics 2 years ago. But he doesn't stand out very much. Not in his technique, not in his way of skating. But he's always there. Davide Ghiotto does stand out. Well, he has a cool mustache. He also tends to open very quickly. 34.2. He's done it faster, but it's still very fast. And 1.6 seconds faster than Bergsma did. He's definitely up to something. He has very, very long strides and a very slow rhythm. But it works. 30.9. Starting off much faster than the others. Now I wonder what he's up to. I wonder what final time he's got in his head. Presumably a time under 13 minutes. Well, if you start this fast. Because laps of 31 seconds, so I'll get you to exactly 13 minutes pretty much. 31.3. 31.3 for Malfatti as well. Davide Ghiotto was set to win the overall World Cup long distance 5 and 10k combined last season. But then somewhere in the final laps of the final 5k in the World Cup, he made a big mistake. Sander ITA was next to him on the crossing and ITA had priority. He came from the outer lane. Ghiotto didn't give it and he was in ITA's way. Means you got disqualified, so no points. So he didn't win, and instead Bo Snelling won, which mostly cost him a lot of money because there's quite a lot of money to be won in the World Cup. But it was his own mistake, so he could only blame himself. 31.2, 31.3. Both skaters by far the fastest so far. He did take revenge as well, because world champion on the 10k, a little bit later in the season, a few weeks after that mistake. He won with 15 seconds difference, the 10k, which is quite a big gap. 31.1, Ghiotto again, very consistent, very steady, and very good. Ghiotto also third at the Olympics in 2022. And actually has a really good time standing here in Stavanger. In the previous Olympic season, the 2017-2018 season, Davide Ghiotto skated in the B division, which does have an advantage because you skate in quartets. So there are 4 skaters on the track at the same time instead of just 2. So you have a little bit more wind going around, and maybe you pass some skaters. So it does have a little bit of an advantage, but still, 12.53, which is what he skated then, is very, very good. So he went back into the high 30s last lap, and now lost half a second again, with 31.4. Two years ago there was also a 10k here in Stavanger, where Malfatti skated 13.12 and Ghiotto skated 13.10. .31.0 now. A little bit more erratic lap times than, for example, Bergsma had. 31-1 again. And of course, being Italian, same goes for Malfatti naturally, he wants to be at his absolute best in 2 years' time. Because the Olympics will be in Baselga. Sorry, my bad. They will be in Milan. And there were talks about the ice skating potentially being in Baselga, because there's an ice rink there and they would build a building around it, cover it, which did not happen. And the skating will now be in some kind of Congress hall in Milan, still yet to be determined exactly where, I think. If it is determined, I'm not sure exactly where, but it's somewhere in or very closely around Milan. And a lot of us were quite excited that it was going to be potentially in Baselga. The Baselga is a high altitude rink, lies at 998 meters above sea level, Baselga di Pine. And if it was covered, it would probably become the fastest ice rink in Europe due to the altitude, lower air pressure. But that's not gonna happen. On one hand, a shame. On the other hand, having such an outdoor rink with the mountains there, you know, you get a lot of beautiful pictures there. That's worth a lot as well. So maybe it is for the best that it remains uncovered. Who knows? For the Olympics, it's unfortunate, but in the long term, for Italian speed skating in that region, it might be the best. What I'm noticing is that Ghiotto, with, again, very consistent lap times, on the first stride in every turn, at least every outer turn, he keeps his hand on his back. He did not do it here, but let's see if he does it again when he's in the outer lane again. Now, Chris Huizinga this season started to skate with both hands on his back. Yeah, did you see that? There he did it again. Kept it on his back for a bit longer. Chris Huizinga skates with both hands on his back for the entire race, which you pretty much never see. Elena Sakyakova, female Russian skater, did it a few years ago, some races. And every now and then you see a skater do it for 1 or 2 strides or maybe one turn in a 10k or a 5k, but never the entire race. 13.9, he is accelerating a bit. But if you know a bit about speed skating history, and then we have to go quite far back. Back in the day, I'm talking like 1910s, 1920s, they did that a lot, and I'm not sure exactly when it stopped, maybe up until the 60s or 50s. But back then they did it a lot, just using both hands on their back, also in the turns. I'm not sure exactly why that changed. Maybe because there's more, you can give more power now for a variety of reasons and you need that hand for more stability. That is probably it. I'm not a skater myself, so I'm not necessarily an expert on that. Although from watching speed skating for 15 years, I do know a bit about it. But it is more aerodynamic to keep it on your back, and Chris Huizinga did skate some great personal bests this season using that technique. It's quite difficult, and the faster you go, the more difficult it is. We saw a Russian skater, Kuznetsov, do it as well on even the 1000 meters a few years ago. And he was able to skate with that technique fast times, but ultimately it didn't get him to the top of the world. But at that speed, keeping that stability without using your hand is incredibly difficult. We're focusing on Ghiotto right now mostly, and he's skating a good race, high 30s. He can still go under 13 minutes if he keeps it up and maybe accelerates a little bit. But Malfatti, a bit behind him, is skating a very good race as well. 30.7. Yeah, if he skates all the laps under 31 now, he goes under 13 minutes, which will be a very good time. And Malfatti is accelerating. For a long time he was at about 31.7, last lap 31.5, now 31.3. It's getting faster and faster. And while he will most likely not be able to catch Ghiotto, he will be able to skate a good time. Ghiotto 31-1. That's not what you need if you want to go under 13 minutes. Malfatti 31-4. Steady. It looks to me like Ghiotto is giving it more power. So perhaps this will be 30.7, something like that. Unfortunately not, 31-0. Still steady though, still very good lap times. 31.5 from Malfatti. .31.3. With these lap times he'll get to about 13.01, 13.02. And Malfatti losing a few tenths now as well, 31.8. .31.6 from Ghiotto. He's not able to keep those lap times steady down, but he will be able to go by far into first place after this race. Which is probably enough for the podium. There are still two more pairs, so it's not certain. But I'm guessing that this will be enough for the podium. His final time will be roughly 13 minutes and 2 seconds. And Malfatti will go into second place. He will beat Jorrit Bergsma's time, which is quite good. Ghiotto, final stretch of a fantastic race. Just above 13 minutes. 13 minutes, 2 seconds, and 71 hundredths of a second. That is 8 seconds faster than he was here 2 years ago. And Malfatti, 13 minutes, 12 seconds, and 89 hundredths, which is half a second slower than he was 2 years ago. So basically the exact same time.